priority is to connect with the field and to surrender my identity and create from the field instead of from matter. And that's something that's a very high value to me, because I think when you are defined by a vision of the future, for the most part, you stay out of the memories of the past. So I like to get my brain and body right before I begin my day. Then I do a workout. I do something physical for my body, and then I take care of myself, with good nutrition. And then I start my day, because the rest of the day I'm serving. So it's a good idea to take care of me before I take care of anybody else. I start my day with morning meditation, and I allow for 2 hours every morning for myself for that work. And so I'm an early riser. I think that according to the research that we've done numerous times, that there's a moment where, when we're going inward, where we have the ability to get beyond ourselves, to get beyond our body, because we think we're our body, get beyond the people in our lives, the things that we own, our cell phone, our computer, the places we need to go to work, home, wherever, at shopping, and get beyond linear time itself. And that elegant moment is when we turn inward and connect to the generous present moment. And all possibilities in the quantum field exist in the present moment. So the act of connecting is getting beyond yourself and becoming pure consciousness, dissociating from everything in the three-dimensional reality. And if you take away every body, every person, everything, every place, and time itself, and you eliminate the planets, the moons, the stars, the light from the stars, you're left with this empty space, this void. And that is the field. Even though you can't see something there, doesn't mean it doesn't exist. It's where possibilities exist. It's where frequency exists. It's a level of energy that exists beyond matter. And so much research has shown that it's not matter that's emitting a field. It's the field that creates matter. So if you create from the field, you can have greater effects on matter. So for me, that moment of connecting to the quantum field, that invisible field of energy and information that governs everything material and connects everything physical, is a good place to start thinking about who you want to be when you open your eyes. And so we have to get beyond ourselves, our past identity, to create a new identity. And it's not about wealth, and it's not about success, and it's not about health. In fact, it's about who we become in the process. And so I think more and more people are interested in going inward and being able to have a little bit more control in their life. I think there's got to be a balance. We have to keep one foot in the real world and one foot in the quantum world. And that means that we have to be practical people when we're navigating in three-dimensional reality. And let's face it, we spend the majority of our time there. This is what physical reality is about engaging in this world with our senses. And so the problem is that when the ego's in balance, its job is to protect the self, to protect the body. If you're near a bonfire and the embers are blowing ashes towards you, your ego tells you to step away. If you're hiking and you're going along a very narrow cliff, it's your ego that says stay close to the wall and stay away from the edge. The ego's natural job is to protect us, So what happens, though, is when we get switched on by the hormones of stress, which, by the way, is 70% of the time, stress causes us to overfocus on our body. If you're being chased by Tyrannosaurus Rex and you get that rush of adrenaline and you move into emergency mode, you're going to use all of your body's resources to outrun that predator. Well, but if it's not T-Rex and it happens to be a coworker that's sitting right next to you at work, you're turning on that same response, and what was once very adaptive becomes very maladaptive, because when you turn on the stress response and you can't turn it off, now you're headed for disease. So people get addicted to the rush of adrenaline, the rush of stress hormones that arouse the brain and body. So in a sense, they start needing the people and conditions in their life to reaffirm their addiction to that emotion. In other words, they become addicted to the life they don't even like. And so this is why change is so hard. At the same time, when you're threatened by a predator, you see danger, all of your attention goes to the outer world. You're narrowing your focus on the cause of your change in your internal state. So that becomes a habit. People all of a sudden start narrowing their focus on everything material. Well, in the quantum world, reality is both a particle and a wave, matter and energy. And so we begin to exclude the field of possibilities when we're in the habit of focusing on just the material world. And by the same means, when you're threatened, you're always beginning to select a possibility in the future based on your memories of the past. You're thinking about how much time you have to get to run away from that predator. So all of your attention is on the body, all of your attention is on your environment, and all of your attention is on time. And now where you place your attention is where you place your energy. And now you're locked into the rules of Newtonian physics, where you have to be play by a certain amount of rules. In other words, your matter trying to change matter. Now, when this happens, all of a sudden the ego gets endorsed and become overly selfish. Now we're selfish. We're trying to take care of ourselves. We become self-indulgent, self-important, self-centered, self-aggrandizing. It's all self-pity. It's all about the self. And this is where people wind up in trouble because there's only a few things you can do. You can compete, you can manipulate, you can lie, you can fight for it, you can try to predict it, try to control it. That's matter trying to change matter. So then the ego gets more frustrated because it can't produce an outcome, and then those very hormones of frustration further endorse the ego, and now the person's on the hamster wheel. They can't get out of their life. By very nature of the concept of change, to change is to be greater than your body, to be greater than your environment, and to be greater than time. So then we have to lay down the very thing we used our whole lives to get what we want for something greater to happen. And that breaking that habit of how we've created or gotten things that we want in our lives is the work. That's the work. So when we create from the field instead of from matter, we have to shed the ego and we have to shed the identity. Now that sounds really simple in a phrase, but if you keep waking up every morning and thinking the same thoughts, making the same choices, doing the exact same things, creating the same experiences, and producing the same emotions every single day, and those same emotions drive your very same thoughts, your biology, your neurocircuitry, your neurochemistry, your hormones, and even your genes are going to be the same. In other words, you're programming your body into a predictable future based on what you did in the past, and now we lose our free will to the program. So you do that for 20 or 30 years, and all of a sudden you decide to sit down and find the present moment, and your body says, well, I'm on a program. I got to get up, I got to make breakfast, I got to go to the bathroom, I got to check my emails, I got to watch the news, I got to take a shower. Your body's trying to get up and do things, and you're asking it to stay in the present moment. And so then the work is reconditioning the body to a new mind. It's training the mind and the body to be in the present moment and not run to the future or the past. So then the work then is finding that present moment and having a free will that's greater than the program, having a mind that's greater than the body to condition the body to a new mind. And in the beginning, it's tedious. It takes a lot of effort. But if you know the formula and you know how to do it, we have so much research to prove that you could be sick, you could be overweight, you could have a terrible past. You could have all kinds of things that people excuse themselves for. Too old, it doesn't matter. We've measured these changes on every age, every body type, every culture, every race, every disease. People have, once they understand the formula, then they know how to overcome their ego. We now know that if you're analyzing your life within some disturbing emotion, like if you're angry, if you're frustrated, if you're fearful, if you're resentful, that if you're analyzing yourself and your life within that emotion, you're going to make your brain worse every single time. The key then is to be able to get beyond that emotion, and if you're no longer analyzing your life within that emotion, we could say if emotions are a record of the past, you're no longer thinking in the past, because the solution isn't in that emotion, it's when you get beyond it. We now can induce certain states. We know that certain words produce dramatic brain changes. We can teach people how to regulate and change their brain waves, and we have students that can do it in 4 seconds, 5 seconds, 9 seconds, 10 seconds. It's a skill. They've practiced it enough times that they can slowly get beyond their analytical mind. And what separates the conscious mind from the subconscious mind is the analytical mind. So if you're going to make changes to those automatic programs where 95% of them exist subconsciously, you can't do it with your conscious mind. That means you got to know how to regulate and change your brainwaves. So we also have incredible research to show what the mystical experience looks like. We now know exactly what happens when the brain switches on and has a transcendental moment. In fact, we can predict it, and at the same time, we know how to induce it. So these are all exciting things because the brain measurements during the transcendental moment are producing such order and coherence in the brain, producing such elevated energy in the brain, is suppressing the analytical mind, the thinking brain, and this whole other system called the autonomic nervous system is switching on, and that's what begins to heal the body. So we're starting to piece together this wonderful model, Laura, that shows that there is a very direct correlation between the brain and the body, and there's a direct correlation between the brain and this invisible field called the quantum field. And when the brain starts processing a new stream of consciousness, there's a change in energy. And when there's a change in energy, all of a sudden you see more energy moving into the brain, and the light bulb gets brighter, and the person is going into a super aware or super conscious state. In fact, they're having an inward experience that's more real than the reality outside of them. And since experience enriches the brain, it begins to mold and shape the brain and change the brain from the past. By the same means, that experience produces an emotion. But the emotion isn't sadness, pain, suffering, guilt, shame. The emotion is this quality that is very difficult to explain in words, but it's a level of love that is not chemical. It's very electric. It's an arousal that gives the body this new information. So it's that elevated emotion that begins to select and instruct new genes, and genes make proteins, and proteins are responsible for the structure and function of the body. And the expression of proteins is the expression of life. And so in a matter of seconds, you see a person with a disease get a biological upgrade in one particular second. So we could say then they're upgrading the human operating systems.
I hope you enjoyed this amazing speech by Joe Dispenza. For real, do this early in the morning and before falling asleep and see the results. We'll continue with our daily challenge. Can you complete the inspiring quote and give us the right answer? If you can do it first, you're the daily winner. Many of you knew the right answer the last time, so congratulations to everyone with the correct answer. We were looking for 2 words, and the quote was Joe Dispenza's and goes like this. The quantum field responds not to what we want, it responds to who we. The correct answer was our being. So the quantum field responds not to what we want, it responds to who we are being. Today we also have the quote that belongs to Joe Dispenza, and it goes like this. Life is about the management of energy. Where you place your attention is where you place. So we are looking for 2 words, and I'm sure you will know the right answer. Write your answer in the comments below the video. Even if you're not sure, try and guess. You might be the winner of this challenge. If you love this video and find it helpful, give your thumbs up and share it with your friends. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell button so you don't miss my new videos and new challenges. So hit the bell button and you will get notification when the new video is published. If you really like what we do here and want to support us, you can join our channel and our community for a symbolic fee and gain many other additional features. You can do that by clicking the join button next to the subscribe button, or you can click on the link in the description of